My name's Dylan.
How you doing?
Before I found Jesus, I had a pretty rough start at like to begin with. I was born and instantly had to get a blood thinner because my blood was too thick. Oh, sorry. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah.
When I was born, my blood was too thick for my heart to pump, so they had to give me blood thinners, and which in turn caused me to have seizures and epilepsy. So that wasn't very good. Well, then when I was about 6 years old, I got to witness my real dad about kill my mom one night. So that was like the first time that I actually got like abused, I guess you could say. Being 6 years old and getting hit in the face by a grown man, it kind of, wasn't very good. But and then when I was about 8, he actually ran out, and that was when I discovered marijuana. And I tried it, made it feel funny, and I was still messed up about my dad running out. And he always liked to portray himself as like this big gangster guy or something. So I always idolized that, which was not good from the start. And when I started smoking weed at that age, I was like, oh well, you don't feel nothing, don't think about nothing with this. Well, that turned into when I was about 13, I started drinking alcohol and discovered nerve pills. And then it was the very next, actually, when I was 13, I got arrested for selling pot at school and banned from school, so I had to move away from all my friends and go to a school to where all me and my buddies, we all fought and joked around. These people was hugging each other and telling them they loved each other and stuff. So I was like, well, this is weird. But, so then it was about a year after that was when I first got introduced to meth. And I was cooking it before I ever tried it. And then when I tried it, all bets was off. And then when I was about 15, my buddy's aunt handed me a handful of pills. And I went to ask my mom what they was. And she didn't tell me what they was, but she jerked them out of my hand, so I knew they was something good. So, so then I tried them. And boy, I was right, they were good. And so 15, I'm strung out on meth pills, still going to school, playing football. Then I had a seizure before I went into my freshman year. Let me back up. In 8th grade, me and a few other guys that I played football with, a school in Indy was starting a football team, and we all got scholarships. And my freshman year, the summer before that, I had a seizure and it was 32 minutes long, and my doctor wouldn't sign off for me to play football no more. So I was like, well, there goes that. So then I had my mind set up that I was going to go to the Navy. Mind you, I'm still using through all this with all these great plans. But then I go to talk to a recruiter for the Navy, find out, well, you have seizures. They don't want you, in the military. For some reason, they don't want you playing machine guns and having seizures. So, right. So then I started to use more. Some situations that happened because of all the abuse and stuff. Another outlet that I had for all the abuse and just bad stuff that happened was violence. That was the only thing I could remember of my real dad, and that's what I idolized. So I started fighting, sticking up for kids, couldn't stick up for themselves. Just, where it started. And then that just got worse, and I just started hanging out with worse and worse people. And then I did graduate high school, and messed with some people that was pretty dangerous, really dangerous. So I broke up with my high school sweetheart because they showed me pictures of her family, and some friends of theirs that these people should have known. And it kind of tripped me out, so I left her. So I just, again, pushed me more into using harder. And then when I turned 20, the man who raised me, and who I considered my dad, and he was my best friend, one night after work, we didn't have much money, and we was all strung out, and so we didn't have no food. So while I was at work, my dad had went out and poached a deer. And when I got home from work, he said, come on, help me get this deer. And I said, well, I just got home, let's roll one first, you know? And we go up there to get the deer, and on the way up there, he's getting all winded and stuff, like can't breathe. Don't say his chest is hurting, he just keeps saying his lungs is burning. His lungs is burning. And on the way back out, he fell down on all fours, and me and the buddy that was staying with us, and he was dating my sister, but on the way out, I had the deer in a wheelbarrow, and my dad was behind me, and I'm pushing it, and I'm like, hey TJ, I don't hear your dad, man, shine that flashlight back there, and he's on all fours, and his face like beat red as Mr. Dale's shirt, and he just kept saying, my lungs burn, so I called my mom. Well, she didn't think it was as serious as it was, I didn't really either, but so I grabbed him and drug him down to the house, and long story short, he lived for about 2 minutes after I got him in there. He had a massive heart attack and died. That really pushed me even harder. And then my mom kind of shunned me because she got this new boyfriend after he had passed away. And because right after Dad died, she was doing the speed with me and whatnot. And then when she got this new boyfriend, I was the bad guy all of a sudden. And so then that messed me up because I come home from work. She had done moved to Russellville with her boyfriend. My sister and her boyfriend had moved out of the house the day before rent was due. I get the electric bill. I'd been giving my mom the money for it. It was in my name. I didn't know nothing about paying no bills. I just gave her the cash. There was a disconnect notice. The propane was empty. So I just went harder at doing what I was doing, and then it wasn't long before I wasn't working, and that was all I was doing. And then I associated with a lot of gang affiliated people. I always have since I was a kid. And I pulled more to them because they loved me, right? You know, oh, we got you, little bro. Yeah, they don't got you. But so it wasn't long before I was running around with pistols and drugs. Didn't care if I lived. Then I tried to get sober. I did get sober actually, and I moved to Fort Wayne. This is actually just a few years ago when I finally. It's like, I'm gonna try to do this, and I went to Fort Wayne and was actually doing good. I made it a little over a year, and I was doing everything I was supposed to. And then my buddy's car on the way home from work got shot up over a situation with his little brother, and so that caused PTSD, obviously. Some more, I should say. And so then I started using again because, we all love excuses to use. And so that was just another one to put in the pocket. And so I put that in the pocket and I ran with it. And let's see. Sorry, guys. After the shooting happened, I moved back down here and went back to doing what I was doing before. And before I went up there, I think I had been Narcaned, I think once or twice. Now it's somewhere in between 30 and 40. And so I went to jail this last time. That's where I met Joe. And Joe, tell you, I signed my plea deal with nothing but reservations. Is that the right word? Yeah. I signed. They offered me somehow. I got a 45-day plea. That's all I seen. I didn't see the 21 or 27 months probation after it, so I signed it. I was dope sick, and I was like, man, I can't wait to get out and get out. I signed this little 45. I'm doing good, you know, build up for teardowns. What I had in my mind when I signed this plea. Well, little did I know, Joe was gonna be in there and mess up all them plans for me. I got in there and I'd actually got my cell phone back to the block and ended up about going to prison. But when I got the phone, lucky for me, the only time being solid has ever paid off in my life was this time, because I was the only one that didn't try to tell on anybody else over the phone. And then Chad Blaze, was gonna arrest this poor little young guard. And the guy just had a baby, and I was like, listen, Chad, like, you know me. He tried to ask me about the other guy. I said, look, I can't speak on another man. That's just not me, Chad. You know that. I said, but I'm not real smart, and I'll tell you exactly what I did. So I told him how I said, you know, you hiring all these young kids to babysit convicts. He didn't do his job because you didn't train him. You don't let a convict in the property room. So I did my job. I got the phone back to the block. The sheriff's department came in, the dog, and man, it was crazy. There was taser lights everywhere. It was like Christmas, but not Christmas. Right. Definitely not Christmas you want home. And so they came, and what was it? They shook us down, and then I think it was 2 days later, after they done rode the other dude back to prison. So I already knew what was up then, because you ain't gonna take me to the hole right away. I knew dude told on me. I just know, you know? And well, I was right. But lucky for me, he did, because I didn't end up going to prison and got put in the hole. I had the rest of my time in the hole, which was nothing new to me, sadly. But that was like the best blessing that I could have had, was going to the hole this time. Because I had Joe in one ear, like, man, you don't want to do this. I'm like, yeah, I do, Joe. I definitely do. And I know what I'm doing. Well, so I'm in the hole, and I was in there with my older brother, Jesse Cohn, and this man I've never seen cry ever a day in my life. Like, he's one of the toughest dudes. I looked up to him when I was a kid, like, I'm gonna be tough like him. Well, we'd found out that a buddy of ours, a mutual friend of ours, had overdosed. And I had just found out that somebody that was very close to me was a tattletale, all on the same day. And I about did something that probably would have caught me at least 20 years. I was dead set on it. There was no stopping me, because somebody had spoke on this guy's name. And well, I found out that the dude wasn't mine, so I'm glad I didn't do that. But he breaks down to me. He said, man, little brother, he said, you've been doing the same stuff since I met you. And I was like 13 when he met me. And he said, you was already doing it before then. He said, you've sat in here just because I think he was only in the hole with me for 10 days. And I done found out that everybody I had around me was just a life sentence waiting to happen, or at least 20 to 30 years waiting to happen. He said, so you're pretty much waiting to go to prison because you're finding out all these, these people's gonna tell on you or whatever. He said, you overdosed how many times? And I told him, and then he did the one thing I thought I'd never see him do. He started crying. He said, please, if you can't find it in you to do it for you, he said, do it for me. And I was like, well, that just don't work like it, yes. You know, if I'm going to do it, I got to do it for me. And I said, but I'll do it for you. Well, he gets out of the hole, and they bring in this black dude named Javier from Indianapolis, and they had him down a few cells down, and there was a little young kid in there, and Javier tried to use the kid's tablet because his had died, and he read a lot of books, and he read his Bible a lot. And the guards come in, they pop my door because I seen the little dude go and tell on him. And Javier's a big dude, so the little kid was probably scared, honestly. Well, he comes back in, the guards pop my door and they said, Elza. I was like, yeah. They're like, would you mind if we house one of these guys with you? I was like, well, I don't care, but you ain't putting a tattletale in here with me, you know? I said, I'll take the other dude. And they pushed me back in my cell. They're like, oh, this dude's a thief. I was like, I don't, let me talk to him. I talked to him. After 2 minutes, I could tell that the kid was on some, hater stuff on the dude, or he was just scared of him. And I was like, yeah, you can put him in there. And they're like, yeah, well, we know if he steals anything from you, that you'll be able to handle yourself. And I'm thinking, yeah, right. The dude's biceps was big as my head. Big boy. Well, we get to talking and stuff, and he tells me that he's from India and he's got this master's in some word I can't pronounce, and he's reading his Bible every day, and he's reading King James, and I'm not very good with like words and stuff, and so he would read it out loud, and then he would explain to me actually, I gotta take that back, because he would make me explain to him what I thought it meant, and then he would be like, this is what, and before this, mind you, I had no interest in finding Jesus, wasn't looking for him, avoided him at all costs. You can ask anybody that knew me from beforehand, and I was definitely the complete opposite, and sadly, I was proud of it. But that, between Joe and Javier and Jesse, when I was getting released, Javier asked if he could pray for me. And of course the guards were freaking out because they waited till the last minute. They can get in trouble if they ain't got you booked out by your booking time or whatever. And I was like, it's cool, I won't tell him. Remember, that's why I'm here. And so, Javier prayed for me, and the first time I ever felt the Holy Spirit, I'm 100% sure, because it was just the greatest feeling I've ever felt in my life. And I remember thinking, if I could have got an ounce of that stuff, little do I know that stuff is free, you just gotta go get it. So I wanted to go to Fort Wayne because my little brother, Quan, the guy I was with when his car got shot up, his little brother got killed, and I missed the funeral by 2 days in a wake up. So I had my mind set on going up there and acting a fool. And of course, Joe can attest this, that bed would not come open for nothing. Oh, man. So I ended up at CRT here in Richmond, and that was the second greatest blessing. I'm 100% sure now, because I met another dude, his name was Mike, and we had similar backgrounds as far as like the violent side and stuff. So, and this dude was just peaceful. I'm like, how, if you've been through all this same stuff I have, how are you like that? And I'm not. And he's like, look, let me show you. And he said, come to church with me on Sunday. I was like, nah, I ain't gonna do that. Well, then I got thinking, if I'm gonna try this sobriety thing and take it serious, I gotta change the one thing that I wasn't doing before. I had to find Jesus. Amen. I had to. I didn't have any kind of higher power the first time, and that's ultimately why I failed. I know that 100%. But So I go to Gateway with Mike, and I really liked it. So I've been going there every Sunday. I met Donald and Joni and Mr. Dale. Mr. Dale comes and gets me every Sunday, and then I also met my brother Javon over here at CRT. He's very spiritual and very knowledgeable as far as spirituality goes, and not once has this man ever made me feel inadequate or dumb or anything. Like, I could ask him, like, I didn't even like to read at meetings, and then when I couldn't read a word, I felt dumb, you know. And all I had to do is just show him, he'd tell me, and if I didn't understand something, he'd explain it to me. But that's my guy right there. And then because of him, I got to meet my boss Jeff, which is another great mentor of mine. He's teaching me how to be a real man. Not what I thought was. I know how to use a hammer and a screwdriver now. Right. But thanks to CRT and the 228 Club, I got to meet my sponsor, Rick, which is amazing, like so amazing. The man's helped me so much for real, and he don't even realize it. You know, he's a humble guy. And then I got my little brother Dawson over here. I really took to him in CRT because, for one, he tried to act like he was tough. I said, look, buddy, I can see that. But I could see some of the conversations we had, he's grown so much since I met him. Met him at CRT. I took to him, we would do our daily readings every morning together at CRT. And he's younger than me and twice as mature, I promise. And probably twice as smart. And he's gonna go far, man. But my life now that I found Jesus is great, guys. I guess I kind of already named it off, but before I thought I had respect and everything from people, but there's a different kind of respect from when somebody fears you or you're what's keeping their bag full, you know. And now I got respectable people that respect me. Yeah, God is great. I appreciate all you guys, like for real. Like, love you, Dylan. Love you too, Donald. That's my guy too. And Miss Donald, wherever she's at. But you guys have all helped me. Like, I don't even think about getting high. And which is crazy. Anybody that know me before, if I stubbed my toe, I was ready to hit the city. But now, God's put into my life like the best group of people that I could have ever met. And I'm really honored and surprised that you guys asked me to do this. And I'm glad. I was super nervous before I did it, but now I'm calm because I know most of you guys. But I just hit 7 months on the 8th. I'm not really sure what to say now. I think I covered all the bases.
Land that plane.
I'll land it? Okay. I'm not sure what to do.
That work really?
I've never even been one of these. Now, help me out here, bud.
You have a Bible scripture that you hold dear to your heart?
I do, but it's wrote down in my Bible.
That's okay. If you know where it's at, we'll get it for you.
No, I don't remember, honestly.
you did great.
Thanks.
You did good.
Nice
Nice
job.
job.